Hi there, this is our second video of the speedrun of rapid games. We're gonna keep playing 10-minute games on chess.com with comments as we play. It's gonna be hard, and the first one was, well, a rocky start, as the caption on the video says. Well, I hope this one runs more smoothly, but as we climb the ladder, I'm sure that the games are gonna get tougher. So let's get going. 10-minute game. Let's see if we find anyone. I'm gonna stick to 10 minutes. I intended to do it to play a time control of 12 plus 3, but no one is accepting any games like those. Oh, okay. We got an opponent right away. Jerry Attridge, rated at 2100 player already. Knight c3. Okay, what? If I play d5, they're gonna play d4, and I guess that's gonna be a job of London after he plays bishop f4, something like that. That's kind of passing. I could play e5. Well, it will auto board. I will play e5 and see if I get a regular e4 e5 opening. Okay, nothing about that. Opponent doesn't want to play any orthodox openings there. He goes d4 right away. Well, I have to take. I would like to push, but the knight is there, and also I feel like I don't have many choices. This could be something resembling the Scotch that I played in the first game. I got black pieces again now that I realize. I would just play knight f6 most likely. I mean, this looks like it could transpose to a Scotch game if he plays e4. But with knight on f6 and this line, I think we just play bishop b4. Okay, this is a bit confusing. He's really throwing me off a little bit here because he kind of tricked me with the move order. Can I play bishop c5 here? I don't know. Knight f5. I will have this trick. If I go bishop c5, knight f5, bishop takes f2 check, drawing the king out to f2, and then I can play discover check because the bishop will be undefended. I play a discover check and the bishop will be hanging. I know that's a lot, but well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it. Most likely he just plays c3 and I'm just wasting a lot of time thinking about these silly tricks. Well, you should never expect your opponent to just fall for a simple tactic. And I don't mind. I mean, bishop c5 is still pretty good. Anyway, um, if he plays c3, I will castle. I think that makes sense for me. The only thing I'm a little bit hesitant about is that if he plays e3, I castle. What happens if he plays something like knight e5? Maybe he plays e3. I will start with h6 just to keep that bishop honest and see if he just goes back. Then maybe in the future I have g5. So when he has something like knight e5, I will be able to get out of that pin with g5. It's a little bit too soon to think about this really because he has to defend this. And well, just e3, if I castle, it's also true that he's not even close to. If he had played e3, he wasn't really that close to castle. I don't know if he could play that, but still. Well, I have to take with a big pawn. The endgame after d takes c, I really don't like that. After the exchange of queens, he has a majority in the center and on the king side. And I will have what we call a crippled majority for absolutely no reason. Normally you get the bishop pair or something for it. Here I get nothing. So I would take, and now I'm really threatening this. I'm really threatening bishop takes f2. Oh, oh my god, that's a bad mistake by him. Before I play my move, I would advise you to stop the video and try to figure it out yourself. He really fell for a typical trick and a very simple tactic, unless I'm missing something and I'm gonna look ridiculous for saying this. But I think there's something very strong for black here. So I'll give you a second, pause the video, And now I'll play the move. Knight takes c4. Well, I'm threatening checkmating one, so my queen is basically not up for grabs. He can't take the queen. So let's see what he does. But he basically lost the piece for nothing. And honestly, it's kind of hard to defend. I mean, if you play bishop e3, that's a pretty awful move. I will take, and after f takes e3, I will play queen h4 check, and that's a disaster already. And this is a disaster already. I'm just up a piece for nothing, but um, it can get worse. He's really not saving this. He has to play bishop e3, else he doesn't even save the second piece he's gonna lose. So we'll see. I don't know what he's. Well, I know what he must be doing. He must be kicking himself a little bit. It's move 7. Um, Move 7, and he dropped the piece right there, and he's being threatened with checkmate. Yeah, sometimes we freeze in situations like this because we realize that we messed up and we don't want to let go of the game. But yeah, there he goes. He has to play that. Only way not to lose the second piece. And now I want to be, well, the most effective I can be to put this game away. And I guess I can just take that doubles the pawns and allows me to come to, well, the death diagonal, that e1 to h4 diagonal that when it's weakened in the opening, bad things happen to you. Well, queen h4, g3, I'm gonna win some more material because I can take. The pawn is pinned. So I will take it. Wait a second, unless I have something better, which I'm not so sure. I was only thinking about queen f6, threatening checkmate. Kind of hard to stop, really, but he has queen d4. And if I go queen f2 check, he goes king to d1, and, well, still winning, of course, but I'd rather win the rook. So we'll just go for it. Knight takes g3, has to take, else I'm going to play this card check with mate or not, well, because he defends. Well, I see a way of capturing his rook anyway. Two ways, actually, I could take. And if he takes back, the rook is hanging, so that's a lot of material already. I can do it in a slightly fancier way with knight e4 check, king d1, knight f2 check. It's going to amount to the same. If he goes king e1, I just have to do the same, I guess. I would just take them. Queen takes d4, e takes d4, knight takes h1. He's going to recover this one, but he's still down a full rook. So, well, I will take care of the rest of the pieces. I mean, I haven't been playing with this, but I had good reasons. I was capturing material and a lot of it. Okay, he castles. I'm going to stay in the center, and the king can easily stay in the center where there are not that many pieces, and there's nothing here for black. So, well, yeah, he resigns. Makes sense. He wants a rematch. Okay, yeah, he deserves it because that was a really bad blunder on his part. Well, e4 or d4. I'm going to play e4. Okay. Now I see. If I play d4, is he going to play knight f6 really? And that variation looks really sus. I have to do it. Oh no. Okay. He plays e5, and if I play knight f3, we're just getting into a Scotch game. I will do it. I mean, I don't really know the theory for d5, and I don't even know if it's great. So, well, he took. I'm going to play the Scotch Gambit. Gambit because I'm giving away that pawn, at least for the time being. Okay, he plays with bishop c5. The other big line is attacking e4, which is a typical counter when you accept a gambit. You want to speed up development, not just keep the pawn most of the time. You want to catch up a little bit, because if I am offering a pawn, it's because I want to develop quickly. I want to play c3, and if he takes, I'm taking the knight out with tempo. C3 is the move here. I'm just thinking about playing another line with kingside casa. A bit undecided. Um, I'll play c3. I'll play the regular c3 here. These seats. Well, I think it's more playable than it's usually suggested. I mean, he's giving up the center. That's not awesome. And let's see, if he plays bishop b6, he retains some pressure here. So this center is still to be held by white. It's I have to prove that I can keep these two together, and I'll be just fine. But I don't want to see something bishop g4 happen now, because that pin, now that my pawn is on d4 and I don't have any other defender coming, that pawn could suffer. So I will play h3. Not sure if it's the move here. If I castle bishop g4, queen b3. He can defend though. He can defend this with something like queen d7. And the queen on b3 with the bishop on c4 usually suffers from this threat. Yeah, I won't allow bishop g4 at all. So knight f6. Okay, I can play knight c3. Can or should. Not sure. I'm a d4 player. So disclaimer, I'm a d4 player. I might not entirely know what I'm doing, but I kind of, yeah, um, I can play this without dropping everything. I guess I can manage myself decently in these openings. I hope. Knight c3. I'm thinking of knight takes c4. I don't know if that's an idea here. I might just go queen e2. Well, I'm gonna play knight c3 anyway. So knight takes c4 looks annoying. That's something to check after the game. He still has that, by the way. If I castle, knight takes c4, knight takes c4, d5. That's the trick. He plays a fork against these two pieces. Seriously thinking of playing bishop g5 here first. Castle, knight takes c4, d5. A little annoyed that I have to play this. D takes c, bishop takes e4, and d4 is hanging. I don't know if it's so easy to take it though. He takes knight takes d4, knight g5, h6. Do I have something there? Not sure. Doesn't look like I do. I have a lot of pieces around that, and much is true, but yeah, no, not entirely convinced, honestly. Maybe I'm missing something though, but um yeah, honestly, tough decision. The other way here is like just playing d5. If he plays knight a5, he kind of gets the knight trapped on a5. That's not good. So if I play d5, either he plays knight e5 and I trade and more or less all right, or he has to go back here, which honestly looks reasonable for him. He's gonna go knight g6 after. I'm undecided here. I'm burning a lot of time. So I'm probably just gonna play d5. Because I don't like the looks of the tricks on e4. I'm sure this is somehow theoretical. This must have been played before and more than once. It's just me that I'm not entirely familiar with it. I could take or could go back to e2. That one gives me more space, like going back to e2, but at the same time, he retains the pressure here. I want to cancel that. And I cancel. Well, now this bishop is a beast. I have to get rid of that one. I'm thinking of queen e2 followed by bishop e3. And yeah, I have a little space advantage, and my prospects are that I'm going to attack on the semi-open file. And my dream is to get my rooks to a c file and start putting pressure on that c7 pawn. Well, it's the only file I've got, and it's the only plan I can think of, so I'll go for it. Yeah, he's preparing to play c6. He's playing well, I think. Definitely much better than in the first game. He had a really unlucky game in that one. Oops, I don't want to remove queen e2. But now he's proving that he's a very solid player. I don't think I got anything out of the opening. I don't know, maybe a slight pull. Now I'm debating if I go back to b3 or d3. Okay. He wants to play b5. I don't know if this is a great idea. Maybe he's just stopping some knight b5 ideas, but if he wants to go b5, I will encourage him because this pawn will be harder than ever to advance to c6, and he needs to do it at some point, else my pressure on the c file will be unbearable. For time being, I would just bring pieces to the center, rooks on open files, and centralize. Um, Try to use every piece, just observing principles, nothing fancy at all. And I'm kind of hoping he plays b5, but I have to give him credit. I don't think he will. Because it's just weakening for no reason. Well, he did. It's just a one move threat. This is a typical mistake at this level. You just start advancing pawns for absolutely no reason other than attacking the bishop. Well, I'm not going to blunder the bishop in one move. I think can happen, but I won't this time. And now what about this one? I have easy pressure on that pawn now. Okay, he wants to get into f4. I think that idea was sounder before than now. I mean, he didn't need to play a6 b5 to do this. And this makes way more sense. He's trying to get the knight to better square. I do think there might be some tactical problems for him after d6 because he's not guarding d5 anymore, and I'm getting a huge square for my knight, and all my pieces are more active than his. And I'm gonna go for it because it looks really good, but also because I'm burning a lot of time in these decisions. And yeah, it looks well. Like all my pieces will be extremely active. I'm gonna be threatening a lot of stuff. These pieces are really unprepared for this. This knight, and that's the risk of sending a knight to the rim, even if it's for a maneuver like this. Can be good in certain instances, but I'm getting into d5 with a fantastic knight on that outpost. And well, time to calculate well. Not easy when you have 3 minutes and 40 seconds, but we'll try. He played way faster than me. Um, well, this is a pattern already. I mean, I did this in the first game of this series. I had some issues talking and playing at the same time. I think it's getting better. I think it's definitely getting a lot better. Um, okay, queen d8 makes sense. Can I attack the knight? Maybe. Yeah, it's a tough spot for him. Knight of seats. I would trade, and these seats will fall. That's one very reasonable option. I want more. I want knight b seats. Can we play that? Rook a7. Rook takes these seats. Queen e7. Okay, can he play rook a7 at all? That looks a little crazy because of this. Do I have something there? If I do, I don't see it. Knight takes e7, he takes. That doesn't make sense. So knight b6, rook a7, rook a7. I can't believe I can't actually refute that. It looks so bad, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe, okay, knight b6, rook a7, rook takes d6, queen e7. Maybe I can take here. And I know it looks crazy, but if he takes, I have knight d5 attacking the queen and the rook. I know it's overly complicated and mostly unnecessary. He might even go queen g5, and if I take the rook, he might go knight f4, and I'm terrified. Yeah, completely unnecessary. So queen f3 was looking reasonable. Knight c7 might be it. Might just be the move, which would make all the sense in the world, but there's rook c8. Sometimes it happens. You seem to have a lot of really good options, and not all of them are so good. I'm going to go with a simple queen f3. I mean, I have to choose simplicity. Again, it happened the last game. It's happening. It's happening now. Not in the last game. The last game was a very bad mistake by him, but I mean, last video. So queen f3. Okay, I don't see how he deals with it other than queen g5. But in that case, I have knight b6, which seems pretty annoying to me. Man, even that I'm not that sure of because he has rook a8. And now that I see it, my rook is hanging if he plays queen g5. I think queen g5 is actually a very decent try for him. I th- I think it's gonna be the most challenging move. In fact, I'm seriously considering playing Rook C7 in that case. So he plays Bishop E6. He found it. Yeah, that's a good move. Unfortunately for us, yep, didn't really consider it seriously. And now I don't want to say I'm in trouble. It might be a stretch, but Knight B6, Rook A8, and it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was for him. I'm sure we missed a lot of stuff here. I'll just play 93. And not a handsome move, I know. But I have to take that pawn. And yeah, well, the knight was beautiful and everything, but it was blocking my way, and I was never able to calculate this in time. Oh yeah, happens. Now I have to be practical. Okay, he threatens this. What if I play h4 first? Because if I just take it, takes on h3. So now let's go for safety. I don't even have time for this. Let's just play king h2, which again I don't love. Maybe queen e7. Queen back to e7, one of the few moves that still defend these seats. I'm gonna pile up on that pawn. I'm gonna eat it. I know I can. I know I can play this at least. Um, wasn't hoping for it to be so difficult, but I will have to do it. Rook c7. That sets up some tactics. I don't know if it's just too risky at this point to go for tactics, but it's fun. I will do it. Rook c7. I just think of some rook to c8. I will play this. I think. And I'm capturing these seats with tempo. I'm planning knight f5 because he can't take. There's a pin there. And he did it. Okay, I will play knight f5. And if he plays queen e8, I have knight takes these seats. And I'm threatening the queen. I'm threatening the rook. I'm threatening bishop takes f7. And that has to be terrifying. I'm down to a minute too. So, well, that's another thing to consider. So I have to be really sharp here. I don't know what I will encounter. Queen d8, most likely I'll have to assume. Because he won't just fold. In that case, rook takes, rook takes d6, queen c7, queen g4. That has to be a winning attack. I'm almost sure. Yeah, it really looks winning. Will I do it though? Rook takes c8 looks so simple that, well, now let's play for the crowds. I have to do this. I don't know if it works. It looks like it does. I'm really nervous, but I don't know. Rook, don't do this in your games. I should have taken on these seats, but for one thing, this looks very strong at first sight. I mean, on Queen G4, I don't even know what he's gonna do to defend this. I have all my pieces attacking that poor king, so I guess the exchange sacrifice should be fine, more than fine actually. G6 I'm gonna take because the pin on the f7 pawn is so powerful. If he takes back with the knight, I take with check and I checkmate on g7 on the next move. And if he doesn't do that, he will play queen f8, I assume. But then I can, at the very least, take this with check because it's pinned, everything is pinned. King h8, I will take here with check again, and I guess checkmate can't be that far. I have the open h file. I have a minute to pull this off though. Well, let's start with knight takes. At the very least, I can always go back to f5 and everything is defended, but I think we won't need that. So king h7, king h7, king h7. I will take regardless. Queen f5. No, I have to get rid of this one, and incidentally, I'm defending the rook, so that's fine. Well, now it's the ball is in his court. I mean, I have queen h4, and it's checkmate, check, king g8, checkmate. That's one thing. And yeah, that is basically it. I don't see how he defends. I have 54 seconds, so I should be able to pull this off. Queen takes these seats. I take with the knight, and well, I have an extra queen, and I'm still threatening the king, so I don't think he can really delay this. He won't be able to drag this for too long. And that's checkmate, essentially. Knight h5, queen takes h5, king g8, queen h8, checkmate. Okay. I think we're fine. Phew. I mean, I really dropped the ball there. At some point, I'm pretty sure. When he played queen g5, I didn't know. I didn't know if I was fine there. Honestly, I mean, I'm sure I'm fine, but I think I lost, well, a good part of my advantage at the very least. Okay, he resigned. Well played. This one deserves a game review, I'm sure. Let's take a look at what happened. Well, the engine thinks I played quite okay. I had a miss. Let's quickly go through the opening, which was, I mean, at the beginning it was very unorthodox, but then we just got a regular um, Scotch Gambit. So I played the c3 line. This is, yeah, it's an inaccuracy according to the engine. Makes sense. The main line, and yeah, this I recall. Black has to play knight f6, and if white plays e5, then he has to remember the e5. This is a very common theme in all e4, e5 openings when there's a bishop on c4. So it's pretty common in the Italian. So if you play the Italian, many people do, you have to know this trick. If white takes, well, black can take back a very important bishop that is usually extremely important for white to get an attack, to cover some weak light squares. Well, in these lines, the bishop just goes. So you have to play bishop b5, pin the knight to king, and the knight on f6 has to move to e4, and then you recover your pawn. This is the main theoretical line. There's a bunch of theory here. That's why I was slightly surprised to see these seats. Though I don't know if it's that terrible. I mean, it's terrible if he plays bishop before check and he just gives up the pressure on d4. But if he keeps the bishop on b6, I don't think it's as straightforward. I have a ton of pressure here. Um, so I played h3, which I feel like I need to play. Knight f6. I am stopping bishop g4. That's the reason. And then the pressure on d4 might become unbearable. So I had to go knight f6. Nice. I'll play knight c3. Yeah, apparently d5 is the move. I had to play this. And if knight e5, just do something similar to the game, but right now. See what's the difference, though. And I think I know what the difference is. This time, this trick is so annoying. Knight takes c4. And he could have played it right now. I didn't think sorry, I didn't think it was the end of the world. Because after knight takes c4, d5, and that's the point. I thought I could play bishop d3, but apparently I'm wrong. D takes, bishop takes. He can take on d4. And yeah, true, I don't have anything. I thought, yeah, his king is still the center, but what? Mine too. If I castle, he will do the same. I just dropped the pawn here. Apparently, what I'll have to do is, well, just castle myself. Very engine-like move. And apparently this is more or less equal. But yeah, black achieves a lot. He destroyed my center. He can choose to take my bishop anytime now. So I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled about this, even if the engine thinks it's more or less equal. I think black is getting the upper hand, or at least the initiative. He gets an easy game. He missed the chance, unfortunately. I finally saw what the problem was, or I really considered that it was a big problem if I castled and I allowed him to play the same trick, which works very well for black. I mean, I want to keep the so-called ideal center d4, e4 in its place, but with this little tactic, which ends in this fork, my pawns are destroyed, and I shouldn't forget that. I should forget that he has a ton of pressure on the d4 pawn afterwards. So, okay, Knight takes c4 would have been a problem. So I played e5. Finally, knight e5. I took. I castle. I just want to see if what I thought was his mistake was actually his mistake. All of this is more or less fine. With the bishop on d7, he retains the opportunity to play c6 when he needs to. So this is all fine. Even a6 is not a really problematic move for him. It's actually okay. And after rook fd1, go figure, b5. The engine thinks it's more or less okay. Not the best move, but more or less okay. I don't think it is. Not from a human perspective. Maybe you can sustain a move like this tactically, but it makes absolutely zero sense to leave this pawn so hopelessly backwards. Makes no sense. I mean, what is black even achieving with this? Yeah, the engine thinks I'm even better now. I mean, it's like 0.7. It's not that important of an advantage. Um, why? Why go b5? I don't see what it achieves. Black gets some space on the queen side, but he can do nothing with it, and he will have to worry about that pawn on c7 for the rest of the game. So bishop b3, knight h5. Apparently, it was better to keep the bishop here. Just a small detail. Knight h5. Yeah, there he goes. D6 is not that good. I mean, I really overestimated this. Really looked powerful. Knight e2. Okay, yeah, that was my second choice. Honestly, I saw it. I really saw it because I wanted to prevent this, and at the same time, I'm threatening c7. Um, I was just this was a little bit misguided. I thought, well, I'm improving my two pieces. I'm jumping into d5. The rook might come here. Well, it seems like I don't have enough targets. He takes knight d5, queen d8. Okay, that was a big blunder. Should have played, yeah, queen h4 right away. Honestly, didn't see the difference during the game. And apparently he's holding his own here. If I play rook c7, he has bishop e6. Um, Apparently I have full compensation. If I just take, I keep an excellent bishop and I'm getting my pawn back. And the pawn is not really the problem. There are a lot of weaknesses to attack. But yeah, I get a very slight advantage if black plays this to perfection, which is a good sign in the sense that this is puts some really difficult problems, even if it's not the best move. He went back to the 8. Okay, what did I miss here? The engine really wants knight b6, which I missed. Uh, okay. I was calculating during the game. Rook a7, rook takes d6, and queen e7 was the move that was somewhat worrying for me. I just have to play rook c2 d1 according to the engine, and I have a very big advantage, which in hindsight makes all the sense in the world. I mean, all my pieces are fantastic. This is still something that might really hurt him. And it's not really that easy to get out of that problem. I'm attacking the bishop, and he goes bishop e6. I can destroy the structure and play knight d7. That's a very annoying move with a double attack here. So he'll have to play this awful rook f2 a8 with the two rooks caged in, and I just take the pawn. Okay. In my defense, not that easy. I mean, when I saw rook a7, I was worrying because there should be some way to just win well, to win material big time here, and apparently there isn't. But I still hold a very big advantage here. Then I saw queen f3, and I thought it was a pretty nice move, and I completely missed this one. I was bad on my part. I mean, queen g5 is such a natural move to defend the knight. And I was only thinking, oh, okay, he might go back, which is really nice. I take this, it falls. I mean, that was a bit childish. Um, so queen g5, knight e3. Yeah, I start to lose the thread a little bit here. Knight f4, king h2. Apparently, he's fine. Queen e7, though, yeah, queen e7. He just had to. I mean, he was being very active. Why not play rook ad8 and prepare yourself for the time when the pawn actually falls? I don't know. That's what he should have done for sure. And he's totally fine. Queen e7. He's still not dropping anything, not even close. This is the blunder. Okay. He had gone queen d8. Yeah, he has to step out of the pin. Has to step out of the pin. I can play this small little nuance instead of going back all the way to c1. I go to c2, and I'm certain to recover the pawn. You see, I'm not really worried about that extra pawn he has because it's backwards on an open file. I have full control of the square in front of it, so that pawn is really going nowhere. I'm just getting it back. It's not like I'm winning material or anything. Things have really changed. But yeah, this was a bad move, and knight f5 wins. Knight f5. The attack is suddenly horrifying. Rook takes e7. Okay, it's called brilliant by the engine, though rook takes e8 definitely wins. But rook takes e7. Yeah, it just wins the game right away. Queen takes, rook takes d6. Um, well, we talked about it in the first video. Principle of concentration of forces. When you attack, you want all the pieces to intervene. All of these are doing something. And they're really close to the opponent's king. And black has zero counterplay. So I'm down the exchange. But I'm making threats already. And queen g4 is coming. And he can't really deal with the four pieces. I'm really attacking with all the pieces here. Queen e8, queen g4, and yeah, it's completely hopeless. It's almost checkmate by force. Queen f8, g6. This is the variation I was talking about. If g6, I have enough on g6 to take because of the pin. If knight takes, queen takes, the queen is again untouchable, and it ends in checkmate with queen g7. So, yep, nothing to do about the g7 pawn, but play queen f8 instead. And then, well, everything falls with check, and the king's completely open. Rook c7 is called a mistake. Not that it matters anymore. I mean, queen h4 is coming, and there's not much to do about it. So, well, pretty couple of games. The first one was a bit uneventful because there was a big blunder, but in the second one, to my opponent's credit, he was really solid. And he even got the upper hand at one point. I was low on time, and then, well, the blunder came in a complicated position, I guess. So, well, I hope it was fun for you. I definitely had a thrilling, a thrilling time again, going down to a minute. And well, we crossed the 2100 mark, so we'll continue on video 3 and see how we do. Thanks a lot, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to leave a like if you like the content. And I will be seeing you on our next video.